thank you for tuning in. And in this video I will be talking about what are the different types of magical tools, how to choose your magical tools, and once you've chosen the magical tools, how to prepare them for your magical work. So if this sounds like something that you're interested in, then don't go anywhere. Can you smell it? Can you smell it? Comets moving. Can you feel it? Can you feel it? The winds of change. Oh, whistle up the seven winds fly. Hello witches and pagans, welcome back to the Reuben Lyran Healer channel. I'm your host, Reuben Lyran Healer, and welcome also back to the How Magick Works series. This is the final instalment in this piece of work. If you have enjoyed this series so far, or if this is your first time here, then please do get stuck in and enjoy it with me. What is the importance of magical tools? What are the different magical tools that a witch may work with, or any sort of magical practitioner, but especially witches? So if this sounds like something that you'd be interested, please do stick around. Hit that subscribe button. And please leave a like and a comment, and please do share it with other people who you think may enjoy this same content. So I've assembled my magical tools so I can show you some of them. First pointer I want to talk about is witches' traditional tools. These are also cardinal point representatives such as the wand, the affirmé, the pentacle, the chalice. Sorry, my mind went blank then. Represent the four cardinal points and the magical elements of earth, air, water and fire. So in the east we have the wand, which does represent the element of fire. Brought a couple of friendly sticks here with me to show you that I have a bit of a problem when it comes to collecting wands. So I liked this one because it was kind of like a fork. So it's kind of a bit like a dowsing rod or something. I don't know, but I was really drawn to that piece. But anyway, this is my willow wand. Oh, it was a big staff. I cut it down a little bit more. I took lots of time carving and sanding down this willow branch into what was a staff. It's now more like a mini scepter or something. For the element of air we have the wand. For the element of fire we have the affirmé or the sword. So element of fire, we have the sword. I've also made a obsidian dagger. I've shown you this before in one of the other videos, but I'll show it again just because we're talking about the element of fire and the witch's tools which relate to that element in cardinal point. Element of water we have the cauldron, so, and the chalice. Okay, but I just want to get through the rest of the magical tools. So we have the witch's pentacle. So like a basic version of the witch's pentacle could be something as simple as just printing out a star and laminating it, and then just putting that on your altar, and there you have a basic witch's pentacle. So you can make it as elaborate or as simple as you want, because it's all about the intention. Okay. The Witch's Pentacle. Pentacle is just the 5-pointed star with a circle surrounding it. In the pentacle we have the 5 elements, so we've got earth, air, water, fire, 5 points, and then you have spirit, which surrounds it as well. And spirit is also the 5th element, which binds all of the other elements together and brings balance. Another witch's tool we have is the bell. You hear that ring? I've been collecting these tools for a very long time, so I'm not saying that everyone needs all of these tools to be able to do magic, because that's not true. We don't need any tools whatsoever to be able to do magic, but these magical tools just are here as a helper, and they guide us through working magic, but we are able to work magic without them. Another magical witch's tool is the Singulum. So basically the Singulum is cords. So you use these cords to tie knots in them whilst casting magic. So knot spells. So the 9 knot spells, by knot of 1 the spell is true, by knot of 2 it will come true, by knot of 3 the power's in me, by knot of 4 the power soars, by knot of 5 the magic's alive, by knot of 6 the spell is fixed, by knot of 7 the power of heaven, by knot of 8 it is fate, by knot of 9 the thing is mine. So that's a simple knot spell. So a cord or a Singulum is a popular witch's tool. So in Wicca, or in traditional witchcraft, especially in something such as Gardnerian Wicca, you would have a knot for each initiation which you pass through. So there's 3 degrees in Gardnerian Wicca, so for each degree you would be able to tie a knot, and then you would wear. So if you did your 3rd degree and became a high priestess level initiate, and then you would have your 3 knots, I believe, and you would then wear that Singulum, and that does wearing the Singulum represents your achievement. So it's a bit forgive me for making it sound simple or silly, but it's a bit like wearing your karate belt. If you're a karate practitioner, then you will pick up a black belt. Well, you work your way towards a black belt. You start with white, go to red, and then onwards and onwards through the rainbow colours, and all the way until you get to black. So it's similar to that. You start with your first level, and then you wear the belt, and that is representative of your achievement. One way which the Singulum is used. Another way is, depending on the tradition which you practice, if you're an eclectic witch, then you can do pretty much whatever you want, or whatever you feel like doing. But if you're a specific tradition, such as Wiccan or Gardnerian Wiccan, then you may do what I said, and you'd wear the Singulum with this specific knot which you've been initiated up until. From a different tradition, such as Sayax Wicca, then you wouldn't wear the Singulum. You would just use the Singulum in your magical workings just to tie knots. So that's similar to the way that I use it. I don't go around wearing my Singulum or magical cord all of the time. or in all of my spells and rituals, but I do like to use it to tie knot spells with. So that is the Singulum. It's traditionally, I believe, in Gardnerian Wicca, for example, I believe the traditional length of your Singulum is 9 feet. So if you look at mine is not that long. Could you use it to measure the length of your circle and to create the boundary using the Singulum or the cord? Affirmate. So if we look at this here, this little, it's practically a letter opener, but it's a nice little dagger. So this was the first tool that I used as an affirmate. So it's a very miniature sword. So an affirmate, what do we use an affirmate for? So this is my most recent affirmate, the obsidian spearhead. So basically you use the affirmate to direct energy and to cut through subtle energy. You don't use it to physically cut anything. If you've seen stereotypical movies such as The Wicker Man or something with pagans and druids sacrificing people, so witches don't go around sacrificing people, but basically I'm saying we don't use our affirmate to cut anything. The only thing we cut with our affirmates is the air and the energy, basically. It's a tool used for directing energy, just like the wand. And it is connected with the element of air as well. Traditional witch's tool is the drum or the singing bowl. Music and sound is quite popular, especially like these shamanic drums, the big circular ones. I don't have one yet, but I will be getting one in the future. Because you know me, I've got to have it all. But yeah, they're quite popular, so you've probably seen them. The big shamanic drums, which people use like for ceremonies and stuff like that. So mortar and pestle, that's another witch's tool. So for grinding herbs or incense, and so you could use it to grind your resin, incense, or just grinding simple herbs, such as my zinc foil over here. So yeah, that's the pestle and mortar, so that's pretty simple there. So the last one on my list is the Magick Mirror. It's quite a flexible tool. You can use it in many different ways. So one of the main ways of using the Magick Mirror, so you could use an actual mirror as a magic mirror if you wanted, or you can use an obsidian mirror like I've got here. This is black obsidian. We'll explain about scrying in a future video because that is quite a hefty subject all in itself. Just simply putting a mirror on the ground, putting a crystal on top of it. So maybe I used a fluorite pyramid before and put that on top of the mirror and put a circle of salt around that, and that my intention in doing so was to draw in any negative energies, whether it's in negative entities or whether it's just simply bad vibes. The fluorite was spelled, so it drew in the bad energies. A lot of crystals do this naturally anyway, but I was reinforcing that with my intention. So yeah, that's a magical mirror. So you can use them in protection spells. You can use them to trap bad vibes, negative entities. You can use them for scrying, divination. Another important magical witches tool is the Book of Shadows. So this is my current Book of Shadows. I also have my earlier Book of Shadows here. And here is my new grimoire, which I will be working on soon. So if you'd like to see inside my Book of Shadows, please do check out my earlier videos, because I have filmed a tour of my Book of Shadows, so you can see what kind of spells are in there and just what kind of information I've collected throughout the years. So next is choosing your tools. So how do you choose your magical tools? Like choosing your magical tools, like if it's something like choosing a crystal, like certain crystals are good for different things. So here we have some Auralite, so there's some Auralite. You choose a piece of Auralite to open up your intuitive abilities, or you'd pick up some selenite to tune you into the angelic frequencies. You would, if you're having issues expressing your opinions, if you feel someone's trying to silence you, you would tap into some blue calcite, because that is good for the throat chakra. If you going through a painful relationship or breakup, then some emerald would be good for healing the heart chakra. Different crystals are good for different things. The different tools have different uses, just as the different crystals. So you would also then use your intuition to pick a certain crystal or a certain witch's tool. So if there's quite a lot of different tools before you, if you're going into a Wicca shop, a witch's shop, or a metaphysical shop, if you're going into a metaphysical shop, or you're at a craft fair and you're trying to pick out a wand or a chalice, and there's lots to choose from, then you would just go with your intuition, or just think about the specific things which you like and which you'd like to embed into your witchcraft. So for instance, if you have a love of dragons, then you may decide to get magical tools which have dragons on them, like I do here on my incense holder. If you have a love of cats, like I do, you may decide to put your crystals or your smaller magical tools in a little cat box, something like that. Or if you're trying to tune into goddess frequencies, then you may choose a rattle with the goddess image included on there. Using your magical tools, you think about what specific energy or what specific practice you want to put into place, and then you choose your tools accordingly. Another very important piece of information that you need to be aware of, because I wasn't aware of this at first, is that you don't need every witch's tool, because as you can see, there is a lot of witches tools that you can have, and I don't even have them all. I don't have them all, and I've been collecting for around 16 years, I think it is. You need to think about what kind of magic you're going to be practicing. What kind of magical tools will you really use on a regular basis? So if you're just starting out and you want to invest in a couple of magical items, then think about which items you are going to use the most. Or a good place to start would be a wand, maybe, a pentacle, a chalice, a cauldron. So, like my cauldron here, I love my cauldron because then I put all sorts of other magical items inside it, like my crystals. I put my crystals, just stack them in the cauldron. I've got two cauldrons. The other cauldron, looks exactly the same, but I've put it outside to catch some storm water because we're supposed to be having a storm tonight. We had a bit of thunder earlier, but the storm has not actually hit yet. How do you choose if you feel you need a sword? What would you go for? So another way to make things easier for you is to be gifted items, because that is another good way to receive magical items, because they make them extra special to you. Like a cousin of mine gifted me this magical sword. I believe he was quite interested in magic before me, as he was older than me, so he had an interest. He had a couple of books on witchcraft. He got the sword. Heaven knows what he was doing with it, what demons he was trying to conjure. But anyhow, moving on. When it comes to being gifted a tool or buying a tool from somewhere, it doesn't matter what energy it previously contains, as long as if you pick up that item and you don't get really awful vibes from it, then it's good. You can just clear it, cleanse it, consecrate it, and then prepare it for use, for your own use. But if you see an item that looks great, but then you pick it up and you just get an awful feeling from it, or it just feels really icky and gross, then you're probably best off leaving that and maybe getting an item from someplace else, because you don't want any residual bad energies or anything that's icky. My main point here was that we all have to start somewhere, and just remember that as a magical practitioner, as a witch, we don't need any tools. So the tools that I have, they are just extras. They are just a luxury having them, because we can all practice magic without these extra tools, because we ourselves we're the main tool, that we're the only tool that is necessary to create magic. So that is my point that I wanted to make. You are the most important tool, and I mean that in the most positive way. I'm not calling you a tool. Use the right tool for the right task. If you have a specific tool, use the tool in the way it's meant to be used, like we're saying with the affirme or the sword. So if I have my affirme here, like, use it in the way it's meant to be used. Don't use your affirme to then try and cut something. Like, there's a separate tool for that. So basically, if you wanted to inscribe your magical candle, what did I do with the candle? Oh, it knocked it over. So if you wanted to inscribe your magical candle, then you would use a different item. That's one I don't have yet. To inscribe a candle, sometimes I just use my nails, because my nails are usually quite long. So I just write my initials in the candle, or inscribe a rune. Or if you wanted, you could just use a needle. So like a sewing needle. So just get a sewing needle and inscribe that in the candle that way. But if you did want to get a specific tool for inscribing or for cutting items, then that would be the bullin, or the bowline, sorry. That would be the bowline. My main point there was to use the right tool for the right task. So use a tool what it's meant to be used for. Another thing to take into consideration is I have two of my wands here. So here is my Atlantis wand, which I made. So it's an Organite wand. It's got lots of beautiful crystals. It's got Brazilian quartz at the point. It's got Lemurian quartz at the bottom end. And then it's got Larimar, clear quartz, sapphire, blue kyanite as well. And it's got all sorts of crystals inside. Topaz, moldavite, etc, etc. So that's my Atlantis wand. So, and then on the other end, I just have my basic holly wand, which I just collected a fallen twig, and I sanded the bark off and just sanded it into a nice wand. So basically my point I'm trying to make is using the right tool for the right task. Basically I do use my wand for Reiki and for healing. So if you wanting a task for a subtle, wanting to use a wand for subtle, tapping into the subtle energies, for sending gentle healing, then you would be better off really for like the tapping into the subtle energies and for giving a nice gentle healing to anyone, to another person. So if you're using your wand to send healing energies, then I would rather go with my holly wand, because it's quite strange, because you'd look at it and just say it's a simple stick. Just looks like a simple stick. Anyone can make a wand like this. It's just very simple but effective. So it's crazy. So I've tried using both wands for sending Reiki, but I get the best results just using the holly wand. It may be that I've had this wand for longer. I think I've had this wand at least about 10 years. This wand is more for doing work on the collective, or for something that's more grand, to tap into the violet flame, or on an epic proportion if it's a big task. This would have its specific use in it. It's quite a specific tool to be using for a specific thing. I made this wand for tapping into Atlantis energies. I don't think that a more elaborate wand is going to be better, or I can talk properly, a more elaborate tool will be better than another tool. This is my Celtic tree calendar wand. From July the 8th to August the 4th, it is holly. So I'm going to read all of the Celtic tree calendars, just in case you want to know what yours is. 24th of December to the 20th of January, your Celtic tree calendar is birch. From the 21st of January to 17th of February, your Celtic tree is rowan. So from February the 18th to March the 17th, your tree would be ash. From March 18th to April 14th, your tree would be alder. From April 15th to May 12th, your tree would be willow. From May 13th to June 9th, your tree would be hawthorn. From June 10th to July the 7th, your tree would be oak. And coming back to holly again, from July 8th to August the 4th, your tree is holly. From August the 5th to September the 1st, your tree would be hazel. From September the 2nd to September the 29th, your tree would be vine. From September the 30th to October the 27th, your tree is ivy. From October the 28th to November the 24th, your tree is reed. From November the 25th to December the 22nd, your tree is elder. It says December the 23rd is not ruled by any tree, for it's a traditional day of the proverbial year and a day in the earliest courts of law. And this book is Celtic Magic. There's some information in here which I liked about using the elemental tools. Candles, another representation of both the elements of air and fire, are used for everything from the light in the altar to specifics in spells. Wax composition does not matter as much as the colours. Colours are needed. White, black, red, pink, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, brown, magenta, indigo, gold and silver. The magical colours when it comes to choosing clothing, cloth to put onto your altar. All these energetic frequencies, they are connected with the different colours. You'd go with like light blue if you wanted a peaceful energy. If you wanted a very protective energy, then you'd go with black or white and black. If you wanted like a very energetic and fiery cloth to put onto your altar, then you could go with a red. If you want an earthy and abundance and prosperity, then you'd choose green. This is colour magic which I'm talking about. Pretty similar to crystal magic, to be honest, because depending on the colour of a crystal depends on what kind of attributes the crystal has. Here we have some blue lace agate. Blue lace agate is very calming and peaceful and gentle healer. And next I wanted to talk about the altar. So when it comes to the altar or a shrine, like, there is a traditional way to do it. So I will show you a picture of what DJ Conway shows as the traditional way to have your altar and shrine. Cunningham's book, he splits the altar into 3 sections. So on the left hand side he says that that part of the altar is for the goddess. In the centre it's the area for the goddess and the god, and on the right hand side it's just for items for the god. So that's interesting because that's different to the cardinal points which the DJ Conway is suggesting. She suggests to put the items, the magical tools which connect with the cardinal points in those specific cardinal points. And depending on who you ask, they say to point your altar towards north or towards east. So it depends on which tradition you go in by. So clearing and consecrating your magical tools. So when you get a magical tool, so this was my first wand here which I bought in a metaphysical store. So you've bought that in a metaphysical store. Firstly you felt drawn to buy it because you really like it and you feel like it would be a good fit for you. So next you would take it home, you would get some sage going, some Palo Santo. So you'd burn some Palo Santo, smudge the wand, smudge around it, so clear any energies or vibrations off of the wand which are not your own. Maybe dip it in a bit of cleansing water such as holy water, or floral hydrosols such as violet water or lavender water, something like that. When I say dip it in, I mean just like the crystal point, maybe not all of it, because it's wooden. So maybe if it needed it, because I know this could do with a little polish, maybe polish it with a little bit of coconut oil, something like that. So once you've cleansed it and cleared it, you could also pass it through the 4 elements. So we've done the air with the Palo Santo or sage. Next would be to pass it near to a candle flame. So just passing it around the candle or passing it over the candle flame, something like that. So just calling upon the element of fire to clear the item of energies that you don't need. So just visualize that any bad vibes, any energies which you don't need are just falling into the candle flame and being burned away. We've cleared the item, we've consecrated it. So next you would set your intention for the item. So you've cleansed it with the elements, you've used earth, air, water. Oh well, you've not used earth yet, so maybe lastly you could pop it on a bit of salt. So pop it on a plate of salt to cleanse overnight, or for 3 days, however long you want to cleanse that. It's been cleansed and consecrated by the 4 elements. You would then be ready to start using it. So then you would hold the item, set your intention for the tool, so speak to it, and just think clearly what your intentions is for this tool. So I want you to direct energy, I want you to help me in my magic. So that is a basic intention. Bonding with a tool. So bonding with your magical tool, I wrote some notes here. So there's quite a few different ways. One way you can bond with your magical tool is sleeping with that tool. So if it's safe to do so, you could put it under your pillow and then just sleep with it, or you could put it on your bedside tables, have it next to you. So it's just so your energies are near to that, and its energies are near to you as well. So there's an exchange, the energy exchange is happening and the bond is forming. Another way is to meditate with your magical item. So spend time meditating with it or meditating on it. So just really taking every detail of the tool and just really become one with it. An item similar to this one, speak to the deva inside the crystal, connect with that deva inside the crystal. Another way is really get to know your tool, your magical tool. There's something that you need to research, if there's a specific thing. So say if you don't know what the metaphysical properties of rosewood, or if you don't know the metaphysical properties of amethyst, then or clear quartz, then or silver, then you would look these things up, look up them correspondences and see what they're going to add to the mix for you. Next, handle the tool, hold it. So just, this is very simple, just spending time holding your tool, and just by holding it, you're just pouring in your own energy into that tool. And just taking breaths with it, breathing on the tool. Just be really present in the moment and really forming a deep bond with it. Another way is talking to the tool, singing to it. So tell the wand what you want from it, or sing a nice song for it. Just send good vibes into it. Another way would be to pray. So if you're the type of person who likes to pray, then pray that deity or spirit will fill the wand, that they will assist you in using it for the best possible outcomes. Another thing is to respect your tools as well. Know that you are on an important path, and that you're doing important magical work. So really respect your tools. Don't just chuck them around. Don't just let any old bugger pick them up or mess around with them. That they're not a toy. So if you're using your wands as your magical tools in your witchcraft, then really treasure them and respect them. When it comes to respecting the tools, it's just setting boundaries for those tools with other people. So if I place my tools on the altar, I don't expect anyone else to then pick them tools up or to bother them. Or if I purposefully place my cauldron inside the doorway, and put my sword inside the cauldron, and that is like a magical spell for protection. If I place it there, I don't expect anyone else to come and touch that and move it, because I'm purposefully keeping these magical items around, and I don't want anyone else interfering with them. So that is having respect for the magical tools. If you're using a divinatory item such as oracle cards or tarot cards, then another way you can bond with them, like I said earlier, with the wands, and you can use any tool really to bond with them in the ways which I've spoken about before. You can place them beside the bed or hold them, send your intention into them. But with the cards, just like the wand, you can place it under your pillow or on the bedside table. Just keep it with you. Pop it in your bag when you're going out somewhere. So even if you're not using them, taking them with you, stuff like that. It helps to create a bond. So the next step in using the magical tools is binding the tools to you. So if you have your magical tools, then you'd want to bind them to you, just so that no one else can interfere with them, no one else can use your magical tools. So if I've got my sword here, or my affirme, which I made, then I want to bind these tools to me, because I don't want no one else being able to take my tool and then use it for magic. So basically, if you wanted to gift your tool to someone else, then you would remove that binding that you've placed on it. How do you bind it? So gather all of your consecrated tools upon your altar, then raise your hands upwards and say, Mother Goddess, Protectress of magic and life, hear my words. As the cauldron of Cerridwen is to Cerridwen, so shall these be to me and my family to come. Or if you have a coven, you may want to include that. Or so shall these tools be to me and to my coven. These tools I offer in service to you, and in worship and glory of nature, so mote it be. So again, just thinking about the intention, visualize that you're wrapping your energy around it, you're pouring your energy around it. If you wanted, you could begin binding your cord around it if you've got one. So just bind your cord around it. This is my tool. This is only going to work for me. No one else can lay their mitts on it. This is my tool. This is mine. I'm working my magic with this tool. So yeah, just spend some time holding it like that. I bind this tool to me, I bind this tool to me, I bind this tool to me. So must it be, and so it is. I call on earth to aid my spell, air to speed its passage well. Hot as fire shall this spell glow, as deep as tide of water flow. So that is how you would bind your tools to you. Another magical tool is spell jars. Magical items placed inside a spell jar. So this one has got patchouli, bay, sugar. I think there's some tiger's eye in there. So that is a spell jar for abundance. So over here we've got a couple of spell pouches. They're another favourite of mine. The spell pouches, I have some seals of Solomon seals. So these are powerful little items. So there's quite a lot of them, but the different seals are good for different things. So they have different magical powers. There's seals which connect with the different planets. So there's the seal of Saturn, the seal of Jupiter, the seal of the moon, etc, etc. So I may do a video on that later on, but in the meantime feel free to take a look into it if you're interested in the seals of Solomon. So at the moment I've given you a brief look at some of my magical items. So also there's some boxes. In this box I've got my magical coins. Magic coins, they're another favourite of mine. My magical coins. So with magical coins, they can, again, they connect with abundance, prosperity. They connect with the element of earth, and also because of the age on them as well. I like them because they connect you to history and to the past. So it's a good, like if you get a really old coin like this one. This one's like from ancient Rome or something, Tricoin. It helps you like tap into the energy of the ancients if you have like really old coins. I've shown you a lot of my magical tools and I'm going to leave it there. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you found this interesting. If you've got any questions, then please do let me know. In the corner of my eye, I've just seen my ancestral money as well. So ancestral money, there's some Irish notes, and there's some Jamaican notes because I have both Irish and Jamaican ancestry. So ancestral money is another useful thing to have on the altar or a shrine. and it just helps to bring more abundance. So you could place the ancestral money with your magical coins on the altar, or in a little box like I have done, and it's just little ways of bringing magic into your life. So thank you all for tuning in. I hope you all found some useful pointers in here, and if anyone's got any questions, if you'd like to know any more information on any of the subjects that I've spoke about, if you would like to see some full-length videos on some of the topics which I've mentioned, then please do let me know, because I'm sure I would love to do some more in-depth videos. So basically, through this How Magick Works series, I've been laying down a lot of foundations of beginning to practice witchcraft or Wicca, or whatever you want to call it, the craft. From here on forward, I want to get more in-depth with specific areas, so please do continue to join me on this journey. So thank you for watching, and thank you for subscribing and sharing and liking, and thank you for being here. Please come back again, and I will let you go. So thank you for watching, and that's all folks for this time, and please come back again soon. The next video will be very special because it's my 100th video, so I'm planning on maybe filming from Stonehenge if I'm able to take my camera with me. I want, because next week I will be going to Stonehenge for the Summer Solstice, so that will be very exciting. So I want to film some footage while I'm there, which I can share with you all. So until next time, do take care, and brightest blessings and namaste.